Hey guys, so we're here with a video of the table that we just finished. If you've been watching our channel and watching our vlogs, you know that we bought a table for our kitchen here. We wanted to paint the one we had, but it wasn't real wood, so we wanted to stain the top. So we bought a new table. We found a table at a thrift store for $12, I think it was. $10. And we sanded the top, stained it, and then we painted the bottom of the table, and then we were going to have our chairs painted white. We were keeping the same chairs from our table. So we started this way back in June, this summer here, and we recorded all the process, so I'm going to show that in just a second here of how we did that all, and then we finished it. But then when we got ready to bring it upstairs, the chairs didn't quite fit under with the arms didn't fit underneath it, so we were gonna have to raise it up a little bit. So we were having to put these little what were they, little bitty things underneath the legs, little razors. It raised the bottom of the table
so they don't scratch the wood.
So anyway, we went to flip it over to put them under there, and it flipped over and hit the bottom of the driveway on the top of it, and it scratched the top of it, so we had to redo it again. It scratched it, so we sanded it again and re-sanded it, and then we had problems with it streaking with the sanding, and then the sealer on top, we tried that and we had problems with that again. For some reason, after the first time, we kept having problems with it. It was perfect the first time, but after that we just kept having problems with it. So long story short, we finally got it done. We finally got it. It's now like 6 months later, but we finally got it done. We had a lot of stuff happen in between there with kids' sports and everything, so it just got delayed and we just didn't get to finish it. And I wanted to wait until we got the chairs all painted so we could show you the final product. The table's been done for a while, but we just didn't have the chairs done yet. So we finally had the chairs done. So first I'm going to show you when we first did it in the summer before we had to redo it, and then I'll show you the finished product after that. So here is when we very first started the process of sanding and staining and then painting the legs of the table. So we're getting ready to sand the table that we bought at the Savers thrift store for the kitchen table. That's the kitchen table we bought. We're gonna sand that and then do a dark stain. We bought the stain over here. It's a mixture of the Joko bean, I think is how you say that, and then the espresso. We're gonna mix those two together because the video that I saw, I really like they mixed those two colors and I really like the look of it. I'm gonna sand the top and put that stain on the top, and I'm gonna paint the legs on the bottom white. So we're making headway with the table. We have the top is all sanded now. Got that all sanded. Now we're working on the side, getting the side here trimmed, and then of course under here it's just gonna be painted all white. We're just gonna paint all that white underneath there. The top is gonna be sanded and then stain on top of it, dark stain on top of it. Brad is going around getting the edges right there, and then I'm using the sander down here on the side here. He's just getting the edge there in the little corner where it's hard to get with the sander.
Alright, so we're putting stain
on top. We put one coat over here already. Putting the first coat over here now.
So we got the stain, 2 coats of stain on the top when we wiped it off. So that's what it looks like on the top. We like it with two coats, made it just a little bit darker than it was. That one's still drying, the second coat a little bit. You can see this one dried a little bit more. But the sides of it, it's not sticking because we discovered that's probably particle board underneath there, and they just put a layer of wood on the top and then put on top of the particle board or something, because it's not, we sanded that, but the stain is not sticking on the sides very well. So we're gonna try to put a few more coats and see if maybe it makes it darker. If not, we might have to get like some kind of marker or something.
One of those wood markers.
Wood markers to try to fill in, to make it a little darker. It's taken in some spots, but just not the whole thing.
That covers 99% of people in the US. Oh, impressive. Play with the best. Switch to Metro PCS and get a 32 gig iPhone.
So I dropped marker off at work, and now we're getting ready to work on the table. Brad has shown me how to put the primer on. Because like I said, I don't usually do the painting. Brad does all the painting, so he's kind of showing me what to do on here before I start in on it. So we got one coat of the primer on this half of the table. There. As you can see, it's just one coat. And then we'll do another coat of the primer, you said, and then one coat of the paint, hopefully, and it'll be good enough. So that's the primer. So we got this half done. And then Brad just started on that part to give me a break because my legs are killing me from sitting down underneath the table. My old legs are hurting me. So it's Tuesday, or actually Monday. Today's Monday. I'm on vacation this week, so my days are running together here. It's Monday, and we are making headway on the table. I have like, I think this is the third coat of the primer on here. We put one coat of the paint we used for the trim inside the house that has a high gloss to it, but I think we like just the trim. It's hard to tell in the video because the light's probably going to be kind of funny, but the trim has more of a flat matte kind of like look to it, kind of like chalk paint. But then if we put the regular trim paint, it has a high gloss, and it's like a real shine gloss, and I don't know if I want that for the table. I kind of like the look of like the chalk paint, kind of a flat matte look. So I think I'm just going to do like another couple coats of just the primer, and then it'll look fine. It'll give it that kind of a matte kind of look, chalk paint look. And then we'll have to put some sealer on top of that though, because this table will be used a lot, and if we don't put the sealer on it, it'll probably chip real easy. So hopefully that doesn't shine it up too much by putting that sealer on there, because I like kind of the matte kind of look. But yeah, I need to do that. Another coat on this side. Because the black is still bleeding through some. But it's getting there. Okay, so we are finally starting to finish this table. It's been a while. We just didn't have a chance to because our schedules are crazy. Then I was getting ready to switch to days and we didn't have time to finish it. But we're finally finished putting the last coat of paint on the legs there, the white coat. And now we are putting on the sealer on the top. It goes on the top of the table, goes on a little milky, but then it dries like kind of silky, they said. Kind of satiny, I think. So you let it dry for 2 to 4 hours, and then you can put a second coat on. So we'll let it dry and then see how it looks after that. And then, depending on how shiny that is, we may put it on the legs too to protect the legs, because if the legs get hit, it might chip and stuff. We're not sure if we're gonna do that yet. We're gonna wait and see. So we got this sealer on the top, got them on both sides. So now it just has to dry. We're gonna let it dry overnight and probably put a second coat on tomorrow. All right, so the table is done. It's finished. We ended up putting 2 coats of sealer on the top. And we didn't put any sealer on the legs or anything because we afraid that would kind of gloss it up too much, and I kind of like the flat look that we used, which I said we just used the primer on the bottom. I didn't put any paint, I just used the primer, and it was wide enough for me. So that is it. It looks really, really good. And they said on the sealer for the top, after you use the sealer on the top, to let it, you're not supposed to get it wet at all on the top where the sealer is for 30 days. So that'll give us plenty of time to paint the chairs. We're using the chairs from our old table. We're just going to paint them white, and then we're going to use those 6 chairs. We can have 2 in the middle on each side and then 1 on the end. So yeah, that is it. So make sure you stay tuned and watch our vlogs, because once I get the chairs painted, I will probably, you'll be able to see what it looks like with the chairs and when we put it upstairs next month. So I figured I'd just do this video now to show you what the table looks like, and the chairs are just going to be white. So that was when we first had it done. Then after that is when we dropped it and then had to redo it again. It didn't turn out right, so we had to, I think we did like 4 times after that. Finally we got it like we wanted to. So, and then we used a chalk paint to spray the chairs. So this is the final product with the chairs. You saw the table, and now this is how it turned out with the chairs. We use a chalk spray paint for the chairs, and like you saw in the video, we just used a primer for the legs of the table. Had we known about this chalk paint, we would have just done that on the legs too, but it turned out good. It's just the chalk paint on the table, on the legs, and then it was the primer on the legs of the table. Chalk paint on the chairs, if I can talk right here. So yeah, we like the way it turned out, and we actually have 2 more chairs that we're going to use. If like we have guests, we could just put an extra chair in there, but we're just going to leave the 4 chairs up here now since there's only 4 of us. So we like the way it turned out. So that is our video of how we sanded and stained and painted our table from the thrift store, and then we chalk painted the chairs we had from our old table. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you in our next video. Bye.